Donald Trump is shaking up the automotive industry once again, this time with bold new tariffs. While the mainstream media is warning of a potential recession, is this really bad news? Or just another case of fear-mongering?
Melissa, 7.38 million vehicles were imported and sold in the United States last year. Now, I want you to imagine that if you had that same demand, you're going to put a 25% tariff on 7.38 million vehicles. Clearly, that is not going to happen. What's going to happen once these tariffs go into effect is the automakers will respond in a couple of ways. One, they're going to slow down production in foreign plants for vehicles that are imported here to the United States. They're going to also probably have to raise prices and cut incentives. That'll probably happen fairly quickly. And the final decision they'll have to make is how much capacity do they have to bring production back into the United States? The president says, well, there's some places that only have 60% capacity. It's not as simple as just flipping a switch. There's tooling. There's also making sure that the plant and the supply chain can adjust and bring production from a particular plant overseas back here. But there's no doubt this is going to be a huge hit for the auto industry. One executive in the industry texted me earlier and he said, this is going to drive the auto industry, not the overall economy, strictly the auto industry, into a recession. Melissa?
So that's what we're seeing the automakers across the board fall, Phil. I mean, GM is down 5% at this hour. Ford is down something like 3%. Yep. So is Stellantis. Even though it seemed like 25% on finish coming in would have been actually viewed as not as bad as expected.
Sure, to an extent, it's not as bad as expected. It also leaves leverage for the president if he's not happy with negotiations with countries, that he could ultimately hit the parts suppliers as well. One quick note, Melissa, I get this question from a ton of people. They're like, well, how quickly could General Motors or Ford, by the way, is building a plant in Tennessee. That's the only new plant that is currently under construction. But how quickly could an automaker, any automaker, build a new plant like this one here in Savannah, Georgia? Even if you had the site picked out and you said, do it right now, 2.5 years to 3.5 years, and that's lightning speed, Melissa. A few people I talked with when I brought this up, they laughed and they said, I've never seen an auto plant built in 2.5 to 3.5 years. But I guess if you expressed everything, maybe you could get that to happen. So for the people who say, well, they're going to bring all the production back here to the United States, you just don't flip a switch and make it happen.
Right. President Trump also spoke about potentially exploring the idea of making the interest paid on auto loans tax deductible if you buy an American-made auto, Phil. I mean, could that offset some of this pain?
It could. I listened to that. When I heard that, I sat there and I thought, that will be appealing to a number of people. On the flip side, if you have to raise the price, and we don't know how much the automakers will have to raise prices, if you have to raise the price $4,000, now you're getting into an average transaction price over 50. Right now, it's close to 49,000. Now you're going up into $52,000, $53,000. It is an attractive thing to make that interest tax deductible, but you're also going to be looking at higher costs.
The left says disaster, but Trump says America first. Are these tariffs the key to rebuilding our economy, or will they lead to a recession in the automotive industry? Let us know what you think in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more real talk on Trump's policies.